Hello, folks, and welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Today, as predicted, very exciting day with a rising volatility. Well, I mean, it rised a little bit, not that much, but yeah, they are, to be honest, in my opinion, I was expecting much more volatility, even if the data they released today, um, it was worse than expected. At least they're forecasted for core CPI. Let me just share that with you just to make a beginning of the daily analysis. We have here their core CPI. They forecasted 0.6%. We did 0.7%. So also here indicating prices are lifting up. And even here CPI is CPI for the last month, expecting 8.8% and rised yeah to 9.1%, making here a difference of 0.3%. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, it just means that inflation keeps rising. That's the main point behind that data, even more than expected. That's the extremely bearish thing, of course. But in my opinion, that wasn't now a huge gap to let crash the market. However, um, this volatility was very well planned, in my opinion, and that's pure manipulation. We need to be very careful from now on because it seems that big money is working very well to manipulate the markets at the moment. I'm not talking about Tether or whatever because we know exactly that Bitcoin did one to one a copy of SPY moves. The only thing that was extremely was the XY. That was I didn't see such a huge move. Well, we had that here, but not like pump and dump like they did and now lifting up again. So it's wow. It's just it's even surprising me. And it's once again showing me Inspo be careful because you never had such an environment. The situation is worse and it's becoming worse or more worse. I'm not sure if we can say worse in English, but more worse at least. And we need to be very careful with that. So even that on-chain TA, whatever, is not going to show you that. We can see maybe some preparation, but I will never ever see and predict such volatility. It's not going to happen. However, the good thing is we knew at least because of option flows that we were not expecting a huge and sharp price action. So at least we can say that happened. Because yes, we went up to 20,100 and we had 18.9. But to be honest, we are talking here about $1,100. That's not big. We had bigger volatility in the past, even without that kind of news. I remember last year, for example, every time when Janet Yellen was talking about regulation or was talking about potential tax rates related to crypto, the market almost crashed. Look now. So we need to be very careful because usually that's like in the Titanic when the musicians were just playing the music. I think this scenario is looking they are trying to let look the markets very strong. So No panic. Everything is fine. Yeah, the economy doesn't look great, but the market is not going to crash. And you see, we still have an intact demand here. Everything looks good. In my opinion, that's the trap. And that's a process. That's not this week is going to happen, it's not like we want to have you bullish this week and next week we will dump into you or into retailers and I don't know, small whales. It's a process that will take month and month and month and month. And every time we have a CPI release, or I mean, this week is going to be a big challenge for all of us, but also other economy data, GDP at the end of the year, and so on and so forth. Um, they will play how they want. They will decide if they want to bring some volatility or if they want, just to show you how strong the markets still are. They are not strong. I can tell you that it's not looking good. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And we need really to be very careful. Okay, let us go to the next chapter as usual. Weights ratio declining. I mean, I was mentioning yesterday it wasn't rising up. No, it declined a little bit. It's not big. It's still too high. As you see, if we check the channel, it's still, it's how accurate it is. It's indicating you here. It just hit again our bottom trend line, or yeah. So nothing big here, still too high. We need to see if it stops. I think it's not going to stop. I don't think it's going to uh, go down like we had maybe in the past, like here, for example. It would surprise me if it's going to happen. It would really surprise me if it's going to go down that way. Maybe then afterwards a little bit up and then more down. Because that means they are absolutely done and we should be prepared to lift up very big to the upside. So I'm not expecting that. However, if we take, for example, the 1 hour time frame, we see that even the waist ratio, and that's why I say it was looking very prepared everything, very, manipulated. They lifted up to push the price more down and then just start to decline. The waist ratio indicating they sent just less bitcoins to the exchanges. Why? I don't know, but they did that. So it makes sense to see a price lifting up. Then, of course, we had our CPI impact here, dumped very crazy, pumped up. Now it's declining again because everything is following DXY right now. And DXY, wow, was looking like really a shitcoin today. Like pump up, and you need huge volume to move DXY in that way because it's, you know, I mean, the main drivers here are the comparison between US dollar and euro. So it's really crazy, and Will should know who is moving that volume. Not you, not me, not even Tether. I mean, we are talking here about huge institutionals. Well, um, stablecoin supply even declining, and stablecoin reserves on exchanges lifted up. It's declining right now. We need to see what's going to happen here. As mentioned many times, stablecoin reserves on exchanges, stablecoin reserves on exchanges doesn't mean they are sending stablecoins to exchanges only to buy Bitcoin. They can buy altcoins, Bitcoins, but of course, I mean, exchanges have to refill their stablecoin reserves as well when they're expecting sharp price actions, for example. So let us go forward and take a look to the future market. No, to the flow activity. So let us see what's happening here. I mean, that's a joke because with that kind of candles and volume, I mean, 60,000 bitcoins in 1 hour. That's nice. That's really nice. But if we check, nothing happened. I mean, yesterday or last midnight, we had 3,200 bitcoins. I mean, that's absolutely nothing. If we check, for example, the daily one, even the inflows, Bitcoin inflows are lifting up. It's still very, very low. We did yesterday just 20,000. That's nothing. That's really nothing. And if we check here, I mean, we did here 38,000. That's almost the double. 43,000. And however, you see, I mean, also compared to the volume, that's really crazy. So, yeah, I have mentioned several times that we're preparing something, and we are not done because this week is going to be really hardcore. We have tomorrow initial jobless claims. We have PPI tomorrow for June. We have Friday, and that's going to be my highlight, core retail sales and retail sales for June. And they are expecting very interesting, or at least they did a forecast, core retail sales 0.6%, retail sales 0.8%, while at the same time we know that inflation is rising. So usually that should have some impact to the retail sales as well. And I'm expecting the numbers are going to be worse. If that's the case, that can trigger some red days. So the weekend, but we know weekend. We know how it works, right? Forrest Gump would say it's a box of candies. We never know what candy we will have in our hands next. So, hmm. So we really has to see what's going to happen next. But in my opinion, we need to be extremely um, careful with our money next because it's pure retailer hunting and small whales. The big money is moving in the markets. Of course, many of you will say, well, Inspo, that's not new. We know the big money is always driving the markets. Yeah, but the problem right now is the economy is changing very quick and not to the best. So it's time to be more careful than before. Um, yeah, so also here, no big stablecoin inflows correlates with the outflows, so almost neutral. Everything is fine. Even here, we had 3,800 bitcoins outflows at the same time, and that's it. That's that's just nothing. That's just nothing. The market is cooling down, it seems, at least indicated by the flow activity. Let us go to the future market now. So let us check what happened. Well, since 2 days, the funding rate were lifting up and declined afterwards and lifted up again. So just such kind of, I would say, yeah, I would say wave formation, open interest at the same time. Well, also not really rising and leverage ratio, even if it maintains a very high position, but also declined a little bit. Right now, rising since 2 days. once again. Um, if we check, for example, here, we can see 120 millions, so also nothing big, not related to stablecoins, not related to bitcoins. Really, yeah, it looks like I have checked how much time just go. No, I'm talking about later on. Hopefully, I'm not going to forget that, but it doesn't make sense now to talk about that. However, we need to see what's going to happen next because everything looks too quiet, absolutely too quiet, and it makes sense to see some preparation then because they prepare, then they know a few days later they will start to bring some action, and that's where we nuke, pump, or whatever. In my opinion, to the upside, we don't have a lot of space. I'm not expecting 30k to be honest. I think the max could be 25, but even that, I don't know. I think 22 would be heaven, and everything between 16 and 18k at the moment could be the bottom. Not sure if I could say then the bottom is in, because if the whole economy keeps showing this weak face, I can imagine that it's going to be even worse in the future, in the next month. However, 2024, it's going to be big pain. 2023, a big transition to them. As mentioned several times, that's a process and it will take time. And it's not going to be very good. I mean, I was reading Canada just did an interest rate um, by 100 basis points. That's really a lot, and I think that's going to happen in the US as well. Even I think they can't fix the problem, but however, let us go forward and check what the blockchain whispers is showing us, and we see here still too much longs related to the shorts. We still have here just a long short ratio of 57 to 43. That's, well, I don't know. Many people still too bullish, expecting like a little bit disbelief. So it's not possible. That's not possible. We need to go up. We need to go up. Yeah, at certain point we will go up to liquidate shorts, but as long we still have more shorts than longs, I think they will liquidate more longs. Some volatility, as mentioned, just go down, then up again. Many people are asking, why it's happening that? Well, because, you know, if they liquidate you, if they trigger your stop loss, it's a win and gain for the exchange. That's how it works. If we check here, looks almost exactly the same. Well, I don't care about those here. So let us check what's happening related to the Kingfisher. Can I use it? No. Oh. So let us check FTX, the latest one. Let us see what happens here. Okay, nothing special, I would say. We can take this cluster here and maybe this cluster, but that's not high leverage. Let me go back. And let us check now. Binance. That takes a little bit as usual. And here we go. Okay, on Binance looks a little bit different. So I don't see that correlates. Not this time. So we have here big short positions. Not that big here. I don't understand that here. 0.004 million. That doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, that would at least here explain why we have more longs than shorts. And obvious, of course, we have shorts. It seems the shorters are more high leverage and the longers are more mid leverage. But that's it. Let us go and check what's going on with options. It's so crazy as a German just talk. I mean, I know many Germans, they speak English like native speakers. My problem is, I guess, I speak German, Spanish, and English, you know. It's Spanglish, Janglish. It's so a very ugly mix, I think. However, I'm sorry if I'm spelling things not perfectly. It's, I try my best. Wow, what's FTX doing here? Look that. Look that. FTX, as usual, making big business, Sam. Look that. Wow. They are buying and buying and buying and buying. Again, look that. So they did the same, distributed everything. Now they are doing it again. And that's saying me, in my opinion, that's my personal opinion, you know that. And you know what I have said about FTX. In my opinion, these guys are preparing the next big leg down. I also think so. Because they don't care about money. They really don't care about money. You don't buy high to distribute the way down. That doesn't make any sense. Absolutely no sense. And they are doing it again. Oh, Jesus. But of course, meanwhile, pump, dump, just to tell you, oh, well, should I go long or maybe short or maybe sometimes just stay away, don't make anything. The price will show you when it's close to dump. It's also showing you when it's close to long. Patience is key. And to be honest, in the last few days, my patience is yeah, I have to train some patience again because even I'm, as mentioned, I'm a human. Sometimes I'm also waiting in front of the screen saying, "What the hell? Let's go push up or come on, let it crash now." But you see what they are doing. That's they dumped here, they pumped here, or at least they both. They didn't pump really. They that's just incredible. 5,000 volume. That's crazy. Absorbing as much as they can. Well, let us go to the 30 minutes and check what's happening there. That looks so crazy. However, these guys, Bitcoin collateral futures, wow, bearish like hell. Of course, futures with stable coins doing whatever they need because it's doing exactly what the market price is doing. Even aggregated, you see, looks a little bit better, but these guys are shorting all the time. And FTX doing exactly the opposite. In my opinion, they are just preparing like we have seen just a few weeks ago with the big nuke where it's a little bit different because it's not a sideway run, but they are accumulating. And that's a quick accumulation. So maybe these option traders are absolutely right, and we will see very, maybe hopefully not on Friday, or maybe it makes sense Friday. We will see. Friday could be a very red day, so be very careful. I have mentioned last week, this week is going to be a challenge for all of us. So really something we need to be very careful here. Um, Hopefully we can go more up to have a nice entry for a short, but because 19.3 I don't feel comfortable with that price at the moment, to be honest. However, FTX buying. Oh, I didn't open this one. Inspo. So Coinbase, yes, Coinbase buying. Of course they are buying. They are always buying. Gimini. Gimme. Okay, lifting up a little bit, nothing big. Binance selling. Yeah, because we know Binance and the market makers using mainly Binance. Bitfinex selling? Wow. Does that make sense? I mean, CBD positive, CBD negative, dump money, or manipulation? That's the question. Nobody knows, but also very interesting what they are doing. And of course, per Binance as usual to check what's happening there. Yeah, a funding rate lifted up a little bit, now declining again. Open interest, as you see. Wow, that looks crap. They liquidate here shorts. They liquidated here shorts. They liquidated here. No, sorry. They liquidated. Yeah, shorts. Yes, of course. Shorts. Shorts. Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much. Let us go back and see what we can see here. Who is indicating us something useful? That's the 1 hour. Nah, the minute doesn't make sense. Sometimes the daily makes sense. At least when I'm checking what the market maker is doing. And last time I was checking what the market maker does because the last time, and that's the second time they do that, if we check, let's see here. And we can do the same here right now. Oh, yeah. Usually we received a lot of bitcoins and they declined in fund flow, indicating they are sending less or receiving less bitcoins, for example. And afterwards, we dumped. And this time it's even bigger. I mean, even after they sent all these bitcoins because we know they send bitcoins. Of course, they purchased this here also some bitcoins, but they both they sold a lot of bitcoins. In my opinion, they are doing exactly the same. That's part of the preparation. They are not selling everything. They maintain those on exchanges, and that makes the whole story even worse for us because we can't track them. We have a lot of tools to track a lot of activity, but if they send such a nuke day a lot of bitcoins and they maintain, for example, 30% of the bitcoin, so let us say, I mean, if we check the fund flow, 90,000, 40,000, just before 60,000, almost 67,000, and so on and so forth. So we can say that 60, 70,000 bitcoins are ready, or maybe 100,000 bitcoins are ready, um, just to nuke the next time. And last time we just did 35 days before we nuked. That was exactly, let me check, but I was checking that just to see, it was curious just to see how long it took until the next, so, 32. And we check that. 29 means 32 would be Saturday, Friday to Saturday. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't trade that just because, but yeah, even it looks very, very similar both, to be honest. It goes up, down, one more leg up, then down. So we need to see and be very careful as usual. If we go to the entities, we will see that the market maker were declining and declining even more. So it has now 5,020,000 bitcoins in its balances. These guys here lifted up a little bit and balances are declining right now again. These guys here are accumulating, and of course our brave retailers. And that's it. Let us go to the exchange walls. So let us start with Coinbase. If we can detect something there, in my opinion, that's we have at 18. They will need huge volume just to push the price down, but really big. I mean, just to make, for example, let us make here, that's 15.5. What they need to sell just to cross all that here. Only, of course, if they start to remove these walls. But, you know, it's really crazy. Well, we still have a 25k here something, but nothing special. No, we absorbed this one here, 19. So let us go to Deribit. If we can find something here, 20,800, limiting the way up but not down. Bitstamp at 22, nothing big. Binance Spot. We have at Binance Spot 18.5, 18. Well, nothing changed. Absolutely nothing changed. Some volume here, but nothing big. Bitfinex Spot. Also nothing big. Nothing changed. FTX Perp. FTX Perp. Oh, they did it here again. Huh. Interesting. 21,300. That's it. 21,300. Let us check the 4 hours one. Uh-huh. but to the downside just at 18. So I could expect a leg down to 18 maybe. Look here and then go up. Let us show the 1 hour time frame again. Yeah, 21,400, and that's really interesting here. 17,800. They are expecting something. 18, 17. So, hmm. Kraken. 19, 18. Nothing big. Bitmax also limiting at 20,500. Aha, they were limiting here. Yeah, they want to push more down, it seems. Bitfinex derivatives, nothing. FTX spot, just waiting here in that area, but also nothing. Kraken futures, nothing. And my big highlight, Binance futures. And Binance futures indicating here 18.8 as possible local bottom. Yeah, they don't want to let the price go down even more, but nothing to the upside. We have less volume here, so also interesting. Let me check the 4 hours. No, nothing. Okay, that's interesting. So, in my opinion, we will see a leg down very soon based on what we can see here. Let us go and talk about my personal conclusion. Just as a reminder, personal conclusion are only available for paid subscriptions, like the option chapter as well, just if you're wondering. Okay, so let us go to the next chapter.